Talking about martial arts, it has thousands of different styles. Each martial art has its specific techniques originating from different parts of the world. Kung Fu and Karate are the two most popular disciplines and are sometimes used interchangeably. But there are quite a few differences between the two martial arts, which people tend to ignore. In this video, we'll be comparing Kung Fu versus Karate and describe their various aspects. We'll also throw light on which of these martial arts is best in a street fight. So, make sure you stick with us right till the end. Let's start. Number 1. Place of origin. The origins of these martial arts are what cause constant comparison between Kung Fu and Karate. Kung Fu refers to a sect of ancient Chinese martial arts forms and is a more modern term. Karate, however, was developed and evolved in Japan out of a martial arts practice known as Te, involving hand movements. Later, Karate was influenced by a lot of Chinese martial arts styles, which explains the connection between the two styles. Here's exactly what happened. Due to close proximity to China, the people living in the islands of Okinawa, just south of Japan, got exposed to Chinese Kung Fu. Over time, due to the influence of Chinese Kung Fu, the Okinawans developed their own martial arts style known as Karate. Number 2. Uniforms. One way to identify a martial artist is by the style of its uniform. Karate uniforms are light and loose-fitting and are comprised of a white jacket, pants, and a colored belt. Karate uniform is also called a gi and is the more common martial artist outfit. The color of the belt is according to the skill level of the fighter. Black belt represents the highest ranked karateka. As karate emphasizes more on kicking, striking, and a limited range of standing throwdowns, this uniform is specially designed to maximize the speed and mobility of the fighter. Though different styles of karate may have a slightly different uniform, varying in length of sleeves, legs, and jacket, all share the same basic design. In contrast, Kung Fu outfits vary a lot in style, material, and color. Unlike the overlapping, tied-up fronts of a karate gi, Kung Fu uniforms have tops with Chinese-style buttons. As compared to the white karate uniform, Kung Fu outfits come mostly in fabrics like satin in various bright colors. There is no ranking system in Kung Fu uniforms, and the practitioners often wear shoes in contrast to the karatekas, which generally practice barefoot. Number 3. Movements of Karate and Kung Fu. In Kung Fu style, more circular techniques are involved in the movements, particularly with the hands. As techniques seem to flow from one to another, these circular motions give Kung Fu martial art a more elegant look. In North America, some of the martial artists refer to Chinese Kung Fu as a soft style, while Karate is known to be a hard style art. This is because there is less stop and go with most Kung Fu styles. Now, this doesn't mean that hard styles, such as Karate or Taekwondo, are more powerful martial arts than Kung Fu. People often mislead the term soft because the power from circular techniques is usually hidden. They can generate as much power as the linear movements in hard styles. As compared to karate forms, most of the Kung Fu styles are more complex and longer in duration. In view of most martial artists, the Kung Fu styles look more unnaturalized and exotic, while the karate forms are much more straightforward in terms of techniques. Here's something interesting though. There are certain karate styles, such as Goju, which do have quite a lot of circular movements like Kung Fu. Kempo styles are considered a hybrid of Okinawan karate and Chinese kung fu techniques with both linear and circular movements. The karate movements are more linear and tend to take you forward with momentum towards the target. In contrast to kung fu, which is used to stop the opponent, karate is more efficiently used to harm the opponent. Number 4. Karate, more aggressive. Ignoring the weapons thing for a moment, karate is generally a more aggressive martial art. It's easier to get in close to the opponent and launch the attack because karate is fully focused on striking and has fewer moves than kung fu. These fewer moves give karate 2 advantages over kung fu. 1. The fewer techniques you learn, the more time you spend practicing them. It means that a karate practitioner will better utilize the techniques during a fight than a kung fu martial artist. 2. The fewer the techniques, the faster you learn. To master karate, one needs approximately 8 to 10 years, whereas kung fu needs decades of training to learn it fully. Number 5. Kung fu, more varied. In contrast, when it comes to how to fight, a kung fu fighter has certainly more options at hand. It may take more time mastering this martial art, but once someone becomes an expert, he can be much more tactical in the way he fights. Number 6. Kung Fu versus Karate. Which is best for self-defense? Now this is a pretty tough question, because when 2 martial arts have so much in common, it's hard to determine which offers a bigger advantage, for example, in a self-defense scenario. Some people believe that karate is less good at defense because it is an offensive and striking art, but it's not so true. However, it can be justified that the motion of a fighter in karate tends to be more linear, that is, they come straight for the opponent. As compared to the circular motion, it is probably easier to defend against this, but it is better to attack in a linear pattern. On the other hand, Kung Fu uses circular motion and is a martial art that's more focused on reacting to the opponent's strike instead of trying to land the first blow. Though, in a street fight situation, much of the difference comes down to the individual skill. We can say Kung Fu has the overall advantage as a self-defense martial art. Number 7. Kung Fu versus Karate. Who wins in a street fight? As karate is an offensive form of martial art, there is a slight advantage to using karate in a street fight. In a brawl, where the objective is to reduce your opponent's strike, it ought to have the edge. However, there are 2 situations in which a kung fu fighter is going to have a bigger advantage in a street brawl. Here they are. First, when your opponents are fighting with weapons. If the opponents cannot fight you barehanded and are using weapons to frighten you, you don't need to worry in case you're a kung fu trainer. It's because kung fu fighters usually train with weapons, and that too barehanded, while a karateka cannot compete effectively in a fight with weapons. Second, when you're handling more than one opponent. Kung Fu was specifically designed for use in combat, meaning fights with more than one rival. This certainly offers an upper hand to Kung Fu over karate. Number 8. Kung Fu versus Karate. Which is best for MMA? This should be an easier conclusion to make still. Many people ask this question. In mixed martial arts, karate is a practical solution, whereas Kung Fu is less practicable in a bout against an opponent with more than one martial art under his belt. In the wider world, many forms of karate are similar to kickboxing, a favorite of MMA fighters. Karate's rapid kicks and punches are a good match for Muay Thai as well. On the other hand, Kung Fu Masters are fewer in the MMA leagues. The reason is, this martial art style is weak against grappling arts, and there are almost no pure Kung Fu experts at the highest levels. As discussed previously, Kung Fu is an art specifically for fighting against more than one opponent, while MMA just doesn't work like that. Sadly, you've reached the end of today's episode. Which one of these martial arts will you prefer to train, karate or kung fu? Let us know in the comments section. If you liked our video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and also hit the notification icon so that you do not miss our upcoming videos. Till our next episode, stay safe and healthy.